Well, hello, Little Falls. It's Just Jeffrey joining you for our latest episode of Historic New Jersey, and we are coming to you from the Kingsland Manor in Nutley, New Jersey, and we are joined with Leon Kish, the president of the Kingsland Manor.
Historic Restoration Trust of the Township of Nutley.
So, what year was this?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. It's our 50th anniversary as the trust. In 1974 is when the town actually purchased the building and created the trust, which is a partnership between the Parks and Recs Department of Nutley and the Friends of Kingsland Manor, the volunteers who do the work on the inside and maintain.
And on the topic of volunteers, we met your lovely wife when we first came in.
Thank you.
How long has the Kish family been involved?
I've been involved 11 years, but this goes back obviously 50 years. So I came in at the best end of the development and the restoration. It was pretty much all done. We have one item that we're still working on as part of our original master plan, and that is the ice house. So if anyone in your audience has a good contractor who knows, we have the plans of what to build, but we need an estimate so that we can go ahead and move ahead. We have the funding to build the ice house.
So they're open to bids.
We are.
So make sure if you're watching and you want to contact
Kingsland Manor Nutley at gmail.com. So Joseph Kingsland comes here in 1785 to 1790, purchases the house. It takes 5 years to clear the liens on the property, and he gets full ownership of it. At the time he started his process, he had 8 children with his wife, Mary Outwater, in New York City on Greenwich Street, in a house that had lovely tall ceilings and white plastered walls. So from 1790 to 1796, he actually is plastering the walls, raising the ceilings to make it more livable for the family to move in. Now, by the time he did that, 3 of his children, Isaac, John, Henry Joseph, and Hannah, were of majority. So they didn't move in 1796 when the rest of the family moved in. 5 of his children came here. Interesting fact that his wife, at the age of 46, gave birth to Benjamin upstairs in our area here. The first Kingsland born on the property was Benjamin Kingsland, and that was in 1800.
So now we find ourselves in the formal parlor.
Former parlor, which would not have been open to children, strictly for friends of the family, business associates, adults primarily. So we do have some things in the room, like a pillow there that probably would never have been in this room because it's more childlike. In the room itself, about the room, I guess, is where I should start. The house was done in a Federalist style when Joseph moved in and did all his plastering. The room here, the parlor, and the dining room directly across from it are identical in configuration, the number of windows, the location of the windows, the fireplaces, and the doors from each other. It's the symmetry that they liked to that Federalist style, where you were comfortable in the room because it was similar to the other rooms. Victorians went a little over that, where they wanted octagon-shaped walls and turrets and things that each room would be kind of unique.
The rambling Victorian mansion.
Exactly, but this is done in the classic Federalist style. The furniture that you see in the room are none of the pieces of furniture are actually Kingsland pieces. The Kingsland family were only here until 1909, and then when they disappeared, a lot of their original furniture left. But we do have a couple of items in this room that are Kingsland pieces. For example, I told you about Joseph Sr.
Yes.
Joseph Sr.'s son, Joseph Jr.
And I have to ask you now, is that an original photo or
Original photo, original signature on the photo, and the frame actually was made by Joseph Kingsland III.
So all right, so that's an original Kingsland piece.
It's an original
Here's
Kingsland
the
piece.
Kingsland Manor.
And it hung in the paper mill by Nicholas Park.
So who do we have over here?
Now
Who's this
that
photo?
is Clara Frances Sanford. The Sanford and Kingsland family were both from Barbados. The Sanfords came over a little earlier than the Kingslands. This is part of that line. She is, at this point, she's 8 years old, Clara Frances Sanford. She grows up to be this woman here, and this is her at 30 years old.
Look at that.
And this is her husband, William Henry Kingsland, at 28 years old. They married, and those 2 pictures are of that side of the family, the Kingsland side of the family.
Also originals.
Yes, originals, absolutely. The
Now, did
dress
this
here-
belong to her?
No, this belonged to Joseph Kingsland III's daughter, Martha.
Wow.
Martha Kingsland married a gentleman by the name of Nathan Frederick Carroll, who was a photographer. The ballroom was built by Joseph II, the second son of Joseph, because they had a lot of rich friends as a result of all their entrepreneurship, of all the monies that they were earning. Their friends were the Livingstons and the Schuyler's, and the room is fairly large, probably as large as was needed at the time to entertain. In the room itself, we have a couple of interesting pictures that I think we should point out. On the wall, front wall here, we have a picture of Rachel was 7 years old when she moved into the house. Her father, Joseph Sr., now this is the first generation of kids that have moved in. Her father, in 1808, builds a grist mill directly outside of where we are now. He hires a gentleman by the name of Thomas Oakes. Thomas Oakes was from England, came to the States, lived in, well, at that time, North Belleville, which was Nutley today, and was a millwright. He built the mill. She fell in love with him. A year later, they married. They had 5 children together. He remained as a civil engineer, worked on a canal in Philadelphia called the Schuylkill Canal. Unfortunately, developed dysentery and passed away. So she was left as a single mom with 5 children.
Wow.
This is her probably at the age of around 62, 63 when this painting was done. She had 5 of them done for the 5 children that were part of the family. Richard came to us from Larkspur, Colorado. It was owned by a gentleman by the name of Richard Bennett Kingsland Jr. and his wife Diane Hamilton. And they contacted us once. It's a question that we usually get, and it's a question that I wonder why they even ask. We have a picture of, whatever, Richard Kingsland. Would you be interested? Well, how would you say no, to a guy that was born and raised in the house? Richard came to us. He had been painted over twice before, and he didn't look anything like this. We have an artist in the area, she's from Clifton, and she was able to take it down to the original level of paint and to fix whatever damages had been done. So this is Richard Kingsland at the age of probably about 30. She believes that this painting and Rachel's painting were done about the same time.
So now this is the accurate portrayal.
This is the accurate portrayal. He looked a lot heavier because with each coat of paint, they made his face wider, and his arms were wider. You didn't see any red background for his arms.
Yeah.
And we had no idea that he was reading a newspaper or something.
Really?
It was that bad. It was that bad. But it's been restored, and we're grateful to have him.
So, Leon, there's no way we're walking out of this room without you telling me about this absolutely fabulous chandelier.
The chandelier was in the country club of the Antiqua Country Club. It was part of IT&T. They had a golf course. They had a pool. This hung in their country club, and it was donated to us by them, I guess somewhere in the 1970s or 80s. The country club is no longer. It now is part of a store complex. So it's all gone, but we do have the chandelier, and it's beautiful.
It really is a fabulous addition to a ballroom.
Yeah, oh, perfect. Yeah, and I should point out, the ballroom had all of the plasterwork redone. When they took over the building in 1974. The ceiling had collapsed in the room, so all of this had to be redone. They hired Dutch artisans to come in and to redo the plasterwork in the room, including this rondel that you see at the top where the chandelier is hanging, including the fireplace directly behind us, which is actually made out of plaster as opposed to marble.
Wow.
Because the original one was lost to the ages.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah. Dress. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, not at all. And
Another one of Martha Kingsland's dresses here. This was a ball gown that she would have worn.
perfect.
Fit for the ballroom.
Perfect.
Yeah. So the speakeasy is, so we didn't know necessarily how the bar looked or any of that. So a lot of it had to be sort of, we had to decide what we were going to do.
Into this.
It was involved because that had so little to base it on. The house itself, we had the Historic American Building Survey, where the well, at that time they were unemployed architects that were employed by the federal government during the Depression to keep them in business. They were able to document everything upstairs, but this room wasn't documented, so we had no idea the chairs that were used or any of that. We had stories, and from the stories we were able to kind of piece things together a bit. There are some wonderful cartoons along the walls that we can't see from this angle, but we knew that Bus worked on the Bringing Up Father or Maggie and Jiggs. They were incorporated into the tableau. We also have a picture from his business card of a little guy with a derby hat that became our piano player. And we have the three gentlemen that were basically flakes left on the wall that were restored by an artist that we hired. We got a grant from Essex County art grant, and we hired an artist from the Trenton area who was originally from this area, and he was able to reestablish what the pictures would have looked like, and he had a little bit more of his own technique to it. His name was Anthony Denoya, and he did a wonderful job for us. We're very proud of the work that was done. Again, it was one of the items that was on our master plan of things that needed to be done. The only one remaining is the ice house.
We want to thank everybody, as always, for tuning into our Historic New Jersey series. We want to thank Leon Kish from the Kingsland Manor. And Leon, again, we're going to be back here because you've let us know that you guys are part of the Christmas.
The Holiday House Tours, the Essex County Holiday House Tours, first weekend in December. We're also planning a mystery murder in November. We're going to have a paranormal in October. We're doing a Bridgerton tea in March. So we always try to get a new type of event at the place. The house is open for tours every third Sunday of the month, but we're also open in between time. If anyone wanted a private tour, we have a phone number and an email address, kingslandmanornutley@gmail.com, and you can give us drop us a line and we'll set up something and you can come in and we'll give you a tour. There's quite a lot of the house that we haven't covered at this point.
And we will be back to cover it. This is going to be a 2, maybe even a 3-parter. Again, thank you so much,
Thank you.
Leon. This
Pleasure
was
meeting
absolutely
you. Pleasure being
fantastic.
here. Thank you.
So, Little Falls, keep tuning in, and we will keep introducing you to more wonderful people like Leon and more wonderful historic sites around the great state of New Jersey.